All right, couple things that are going on within the Solana ecosystem. A lot of projects. We're going to give you guys a little bit of an insight on sentiment data around some of these projects. So we'll break a variety of these down. These are potential projects that could be very aggressive in terms of opportunity. So stick around for this one. You don't want to miss it. Let's get into it. I want to thank our sponsor, and that is iTrust Capital. If you guys are looking at long-term holding, one of the places you can do that is in a crypto IRA. And of course, all you have to do is visit the iTrust Capital website. It's very easy to get involved in building a crypto IRA. And also, I think as you start to see other, capacities within other assets that you might want to invest in, you can do it inside your IRA very easily. So just visit that, use our link. You're going to get a $100 funding reward if you guys decide to sign up over there. So make sure and do that. Helps the channel out. All right, so I want to go to a couple of things here. And if you guys are not following this website, you probably should be. If you're a Solana maxi or you just like Solana, go over to the Solana.com ecosystem. This is going to get into all of the different projects that are out there and breaking down the different categories. So obviously consumer category, infrastructure, these are all projects being built within each one. DeFi, payments, etc. We'll even get into things like NFTs. You can also go in and look at what kind of building ecosystems you can go into, as well as the different solutions out there. So use cases around gaming. It breaks down all the potentials around what's happening in the gaming ecosystem. So that being said, I want to jump into a few projects that are starting to trend on sentiment, especially in the Solana ecosystem. A couple that you'll recognize here, and I think most of which you guys have seen. By the way, if you're not following our other Twitter channel, which is Web3 Gaming Biz, make sure and check it out. Just visit it over on X, just Web3 Gaming Biz, and you'll be able to get to a lot of this kind of stuff that Kyle drops in over on that Twitter channel as well. But I want to jump to Jupiter. Jupiter is a platform that essentially I think is going to really kind of rival what Uniswap has been able to do. And within the Solana ecosystem, if you're using a Phantom wallet right now, you've probably already utilized Jupiter in a swap. This is one of the projects that I think is absolutely going to get on fire. Now, of course, you can't get the token right now, but it is coming. And obviously, we've got a lot of airdrops happening this month as well with Jupiter. So big things happening with Jupiter. Jupiary is what they've kind of been promoting. So get ready for that. If you are active within the Solana ecosystem, most likely you're going to get an airdrop. So be on the lookout for that one. Another one, of course, is Pyth. Pyth, of course, on December 22nd, put up that Crypto.com was going to be announcing that Pyth tokens will be made available through direct listings. So that's another big factor right there with Pyth. Now, this is one that we've isolated over the past few months and said there's some opportunity here for sure. And I'll show you where Pyth kind of lines up in terms of sentiment data across all of these in our market sentiment index report to give you guys kind of some insight here. Dialect is another one that you guys should be looking at. Dialect essentially is a tool set that I think is going to reinvent how communication is done within crypto ecosystems, especially in blockchain between wallets. So be on the lookout also for this project within Solana. One that we've had here on the show a couple of times is the team over at Hivemapper. Now, Hivemapper, of course, you can get the honey token, but you can earn this by utilizing their little device that helps them map all sorts of things. Think of it as like a Google mapping ecosystem out there that's starting to become a data engine for other services to be able to provide that to it. And Ariel and I have had two conversations. One I challenged him a bit on, but Hivemapper, of course, has had some pretty significant moves here recently and a lot of partnerships going on. This is their new device that they showcased on our show not too long ago of what you could do. So it's going in and collecting all sorts of sign and mapping data. Plus you get rewards, which is airdropped into your wallet once you sign up. So this is part of kind of the deep in feature of where Solana's growth is going around deep in projects. Another one I want to go to, and this is kind of getting into some of the reason that this is all happening, coming over from the DGen News team. This is really looking at monthly active developers over the month on Solana, 2,500 to 3,000 monthly active users or developers building on-chain in 2023. Now, when you look at that compared to some of the other ecosystems out there, Solana continues to perform over and above what most of these other devs are looking at around building projects. And I think this is the key around finding the next crypto gems, because if you've got new devs coming into an ecosystem like Solana and they're building on projects like this, and you'll get a chance to see a lot more of them, then you've got a potential to see one of these breakouts. And some of them that we've talked about here recently, Neon EVM was one. If you caught that one early when we were first mentioning it, that's a good example of one that 10x. So very interesting stuff right now around Solana. Others that you can kind of look at, this is just over the last 7 days, just to showcase top price gainers. There's Honey with Hivemapper, Myro in there as well, GMT, and Genopets, which we've mentioned before also on the channel. But this just gives you an example of some that are happening within the Solana ecosystem. And this is, I think, very early stage. And that's the other thing. As you start to get into Solana overall, you have to be on the lookout for some of these very early stage projects that have great potential. Jupiter is a good example, with the Jupe token eventually being available. That, I think, is going to be one that we, again, need to really kind of pay very close attention to. Other weekly highlights on Solana that I wanted to kind of highlight here: the Jito liquidity program, now also out on Camino. Radium, of course, is now listed on KuCoin. That's another big one. And then if you look at some of the others, Sobit on Orca, which is now has swappability, and then Bonk is listed on OKX. So these are things that will continue to drive the ecosystem of Solana, but more importantly, it's going to continue to drive Solana as a top level token. We'll break down a lot of what's happening over on the charts in a second. I'll show you some of them going into it. But I want to jump over to our report. And this is our report on the ecosystem by sentiment in 2024. A little bit about what we're doing here on the market sentiment. And I'll get into the ecosystem real quickly right here. All right, so layer one, overall sentiment. Breakdown, Solana still leading the pace right now at around a 59.63. ETH, right, actually ETH behind it. So that just goes back to the whole point around where sentiment is in terms of DES. Avalanche, though, also coming up the ranks, Cosmos and Say, trailing right there on overall sentiment for layer ones. Solana trend projects, these are the ones that are trending currently within the Solana ecosystem. Hivemapper in Solana's own trending data, which they do these up-ranking capabilities. What we've done is looked at each individual project and then took a look at where sentiment was. Hivemapper, no surprise here at 6105, followed by Firedancer. Helios comes in number 3 in terms of the trending projects. Tensor came in at number 4, and then MonkeyDAO and Squads also trailing in on the next. Then we'll break down, this was just for the projects this month. I'll break down into the categories, because consumer category is one to watch very closely. Dialect leads the place with a 53.97. Solarplex comes in, and then mobile, which is Helium token, or Helium Mobile, the mobile token. Realms comes in number 4, then Matricia Labs, Cubic, and Rove Medallions comes in 5 and 6. So this is on the consumer side of things. If you want to learn a little bit more about each one of these projects, what I would do is, reference back to the ecosystem link that we showed you earlier, and you can kind of get into it. Payments is the other one. Payments is a growing category within the Solana ecosystem. I think with Saga and Solana Pay, these are going to be factors. Leading the place, or the sentiment data right now, is Otter Finance. Circle comes in number 2, actually. Decaf at number 3 at 52. These are all ranking above 50. And when you look at sentiment overall, anything above market average, which is right now hovering around 52 to 53, that is a high performing project, because most of these projects will perform well below that number. Helio, TipLink, and Sphere kind of round out the top 6 right there. Further into that, we'll go into DeFi. DeFi breakdowns, of course, Jupiter leading the way at number 1, 6105. This is a pent-up demand, I think, on Jupiter, obviously because of the airdrop. Going to be one of the biggest airdrops out there. Orca comes in number 2. Marinade, which has been a hot token. I think a lot of people have kind of been talking about that one for a bit. Mango Finance has been around for a while, 58.94. Hubble Protocol and Fract also starting to come up the ranks a little bit. So one to watch as well. If you guys want to learn more, jump over to our market sentiment index, which is basically over on PBN. So just go to Paul Barron Network. And when you're landing on the market sentiment index, this is where you get all this data. We break this down on all the different tokens, including Solana, as well as some of the other top market movers out there in terms of the top 10. And then, of course, you can get into the altcoins and Web3 tokens, which we have a whole new slew of these: Injective, Neon, and ICP. Pyth, of course, these were all added in the last 30 days. So we're tracking those quite a bit. Let's take a look at the charts real quick, because I know Bitcoin is on the move right now, cresting 47, and seems to be holding that position right now. What I wanted to do, though, was look at Solana's move here recently, because this was a little bit of a dip here, around down to 87 over the weekend. And I'd love to know if you guys did do any investing in some of these altcoins over the weekend, because we did see some start to move down. Even Render had a nice little low. Love to get your feedback on that. Drop some comments down below, and make sure and smash the like button, because that's one of the things that does help other people learn more about what's happening. Staying in the Solana ecosystem, we'll take a look at Pyth. Here's Pyth starting to come off the floor just a little bit here, coming up to around 26. Further into that, I want to take a look at Neon EVM. This is one that I think may have exhausted itself out after this really massive rise that we saw. Matter of fact, let's take a look at what that rise was from where that was back at end of December, right there to almost 66% just over a few days on early January. Started its decline. Are you guys staying in Neon EVM? And if you are, is this one of those long-term tokens for you? Let me know. Make sure and drop some comments down below. We'd love to get your feedback on that. Further into this, let's take a look at Render, because this is the one that has just recently started moving this morning. And this is one that I think has the potential to maybe do another big bounce. The question is, can it get up to trading at around that 5 to 520 mark? Again, it's currently trading at $4. So this is another one that I think a lot of people follow because of us and our coverage early in the year on Render back in January of last year of where it's going. If you're also into Audius, I'd love to get your feedback on that, because this is one of those projects that we do like in the Solana ecosystem. Audius also in a good position if you were to do a re-entry at around 17 cents, now trading at around 19 with this little bit of movement in the market. Anyway, we're going to wrap on that, but I do want to give you guys a heads up. As I said, if you're not part of the Diamond Circle, make sure and get in. It's another place you get additional content from us. We do additional podcasts over there, all sorts of updates that do not make it here on YouTube. Shorts. We do a lot on the Web3 gaming side with Kyle, so make sure and check it out. We'll leave a link down below. And of course, if you want to follow me out there on X, it's @Paul Barron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.